In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to do the blackberry salad stitch, and basically you have big lumps that are sticking out of your work, so if you tilt it forward you really can see the magnificent amount of bumps. A little bit of a yarn pig because obviously you've got bumps, and on the other side it's actually just hollowed out. Okay, so it's actually more of a one-sided pattern, but it's actually not a bad stitch to do. It's actually pretty easy. We're going to do some double crochet, triple crochet, and of course these 5 together 1 clusters. So let's get started. So let's start off with the slip knot. Hi there everybody, it's Mikey from Mikey's Mail, and today I'd like to introduce to you the blackberry salad stitch, and this is brought to you by All Free Crochet and I. What we have is we have our first one here. Now this is working in groups of 4s. So what you have is 3 double or triple crochets, whichever you prefer, and then the bump. So 3 and then the bump, 3 and then the bump, which equals 4. So we have to keep our chain in sets of 4. So the easiest way to do it, instead of getting a calculator, is this is already 1, so we go 2, 3, and 4. And so there's your first set, right? So now we decide, is it big enough, yes or no? If not, let's keep going. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's keep going. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you want to keep doing that until you get to the size that you want. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. So if you're doing an Afghan or anything like that, at the end of this line you're going to always have to add on 1, and we'll explain a little bit more about that later. So let's just add 1 and call this line quits. So there's your first chain, and what we have is groups of 4 plus 1 at the end. Now our first line actually consists of triple crochet, and so what we want to do is we want to chain up on the sides. So what you can do here is that you can just add a crochet marker to the end one that you just finished so that you remember where it is. And so now what you can just do is now start the chain. So let's start our chain of 4, and this is building up. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just because I'm a professional crocheter, what I always do is I leave my finger and my thumb exactly where that stitch was so that I don't ever have to leave a crochet marker. But if you want to do that with the crochet marker, it's a really great idea. So what we want to do now is our first stitch is where you left that crochet marker, and what we want to do is wrap and into the stitch for a triple crochet. So every time we go into the stitches back across this chain, it's going to be a triple crochet. So let's review a triple crochet. So wrap, and then going into the stitch on the line, the next one available. Okay, so now you'll have 4 on your hook, so just pull it through there on the chain, then pull through 2, 2, and 2. So you have 3 sets of 2 to pull through. So we'll go one more time. So wrap and into the next stitch on the line. Pull through. You'll now have 4. So 2, 2, and 2. So keep doing that throughout this entire line, and we'll meet back up at the end when we're ready to turn around and carry on. Now that we're finished the line, you might want to go back like I did and actually double check to make sure that you have groups of 4. In this case, I should have 21 posts available on my chain. So what we want to do now is turn the yarn, and we now want to work easily here. So now the next stitch will always be, so when we're doing the bumps, we're actually doing double crochet. So we've just done triple, let's work our way to double. So let's chain up 3. We always chain up 3 when we're going to do double crochet. So chain 3. And now what we're going to do is go into the next stitch. So do you see how this post here, it kind of matches this chain here? Well, they're equal. So what we want to do is that when we go to do our next stitch, we got to make sure we go into this one here. So let's just double crochet our way into there. So what we want to do is just do 2 like this. Okay, so we got 1, which is the starting chain, and then 2, that's your second one. And now we want to start doing the bumps. And this is 5 together / 1. So what we want to do is triple crochet. So wrap, going into the very next stitch on the line. Okay, so let's review that again, and we want to hold. So wrap, going in, pull through 2 and 2, and hold. So the final one, you want to continue to hold these onto your hook until you have 6 loops. So this is called 5 together 1, and it's a cluster. So 1. So it's wrap. Okay, so now you got 5 on there. So wrap. So now you have 6. So all you need to do now is just grab the material and pull it through all 6. And now what we want to do is go back to the line and put in a double crochet, and we're going to do 3 in between each one of the bumps. So then the bump is 1, and then 3 double crochets, which equals your set of 4, if you remember right from the beginning. That's why we're doing the sets of 4. So this is 2 and 3. So now we're going to do another bump again. So wrap and wrap the next one on the line, pull through 2, 2, and hold. Wrap and wrap in, pull through 2, 2, and hold. So we want to continue that until we get 6 on the row, 6 on the needle, or hook, sorry. Okay, so we got 5, wrap and wrap, going in. So now you got 6, and now you're going to pull through all 6, and now just do 3 double crochets in a row. So you want to continue to do the same pattern all the way across the line. So I'll meet you back up when we go to turn around and come back across. So I'm coming up to the final, and now I got my 6 on there, so I'm going to pull through all. And if you've done it right, you should end up with 2 posts left on the bottom. So what we want to do is just double crochet ourselves into those final 2. And the reason why we should end up 2 is, if you remember, and make sure on the final one you do not go into this gap. That is so important. I always say that in every tutorial. You have to make sure you go into the chain in order to make that final one. If you go into that gap, it's going to pull your work apart. So what we want to do is, we finished off with 2 over here, because if you looked at the front, you remember how we just did the 1 and 2 and then we went into the bump? Well, that's why. So the bumps are quite outstanding on this. So the next line that we want to do is, we want to just turn this material, and we want to work back across this line here in every stitch that you have available as a triple crochet. So let's do this again. So let's chain up 4. We always chain up 4 for triple crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then what we do is we look at it. Now this post here matches this chain, so we go into the next stitch, which is right there. It's important on this one here that we do not add any extra stitches or drop any stitches, because of the bumps working themselves together. So we want to look at it. The next one is the actual bump that we pulled together, so we just want to wrap and wrap and then go into that one. So let's go across this line as a triple crochet, and we're going to start our very next line. We are coming to our final end now, and it's the last post, so make sure you get into that last chain, not the gap, but the actual chain, before we turn around to go again. So this is a triple crochet, and then what we're going to do is turn our material and come back. And what we want to do now is that we want to make sure that the lumps going the other way are now misaligned, and we're actually not going to start our lump back here. We're actually going to start it over here, causing us to actually double crochet further into our project. So let's turn it around and double crochet. We always chain up 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to look at this project now, and we are going to count over to the 5th one available. So this is 1 post. So what we want to do is just double crochet ourselves all the way until we get to the 5th one over. So that's 3, 4. And now the 5th one here, I've determined through the pattern, is that's exactly where you want to go in order to cause it to have a lump. And if you look at it here, the 5th one here matches. If you look at it, it matches in between these 2 here. So every time you're doing this line, you'll want to jump over to the 5th. So again, we just want to triple crochet ourselves, 5 together /1, making sure we get our 6 on our hook, and we want to continue that along. So just keep going. We're just making our first cluster of this line. That's 4. You got 5 on the hook, and now this is a 6. Okay, now pull through all 6, and now we want to do our double crochet like we were doing before. So we just want to come down and put 3 double crochets in a row. So 1, 2, and 3. And so now what we want to do, the very next one, we want to put in another cluster of 5. So continue to do that same configuration of doing your clusters like you're doing right now, and then 3 double crochets, and then continue to work your way across the line. We'll meet back up again where we start our next line. So we're coming to the final, and you can see the lumps, the undersides of the lumps on this back side here. And what we want to do is because we started our lump over here, right, and not so far close to the edge, on the other side we want to make sure we do the same thing. So this, in actual fact, what we're going to do is we're going to end our lump in between the 2 lumps that are on the next line below. So we want to make sure that we do that every time we go every other one. So continue to do that, and let's continue along with this tutorial. Hopefully by now you're starting to see the pattern. So you see the 2 lumps on the underside, and now if we turn it up the other way, you can actually see it on the overside. So the next line, what we want to do is we want to do a triple crochet. So there's always a triple crochet in between each of the lumps, so you can remember that. So one line will be like this, where we started on the 3rd post coming over, so we have 2 posts and then the lump. And then when we get to this one here, we actually have 4 posts and then the lump. So in the next one, we're just going to triple crochet ourselves across, and I'll get you started on this one, and then you can see the pattern's actually the same. So we've just finished done our next row, which was the triple crochet. We're just going to turn it, and now this one here starts really close, so it's the 3rd one over. So when we go to turn it around, let's begin to chain up our 3 for our triple crochet. Sorry, chain up our 4. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, chain up 2, chain up 3. Sorry, for double crochet. Now this counts as your post over the post, and what we want to just do is double crochet ourselves into the very next one. And now we're going to start our bump like we did before, and those are triple crochets like before. So this here is the pattern. You can see it. We've already covered this line, and that's exactly what you're going to do for this entire tutorial. It's actually really easy. Again, it's a bit of a yarn pig, but a fabulous pattern for being very 3-dimensional. And you could almost make an Afghan for an expectant mom saying it's her baby bump Afghan. But there you go. The sky's the limit, and enjoy another free tutorial from All Free Crochet and Mikey's Mail.